All right. If you can hear me, let me know. Because that means at least, some of the bugs are done. Let me do this. Because I'm going to have to make sure that I put in the... it's one of those things where I was listening to myself on YouTube, and I'm going to have to, what's the word I'm looking for, make sure that the sound is down, because it went into my ear. I'll get it. I'll get it. There we go. So at least now I can see and hear the chat. Okay, we got Ed and Jared. Thanks again, shipmates. It's working. That's a good thing. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy because it means that at least what I wanted to have done with the intro and the music and the transitions are working. I'm very happy to say that. The only thing I need to remember is that I have to turn down my own volume here on YouTube, and that we'll get that. Hey, but you know what? You can't have it perfect. Nikki, how you doing there, sweetheart? I'm glad to see you here as well. This is You Don't Know Jack About Sports. Loud and clear, Mike, Sarah, Nikki, Ed, thanks for saying that. This is Sunday night, and as you know, we talk about the bottom line up front. Let's do the bluff, because obviously on the 30th of June, the bottom line up front is where everybody is going. So I have some of the notes here. In case you've been sleeping under a rock the last, 4.5 hours, you've realized that there has been a transfer of the riches in the NBA. As you know, the West for years and years, up until this year, has been the dominant side of the NBA. There has been a transition, starting with the New York Nets getting two of the top prizes in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Now, granted, Durant's not going to be playing this next year, or if he even has a chance to play, it won't even be until like the end of the season in the playoffs. I doubt seriously he's going to play in 2020 anyway. Actually, technically it'd be the 2019-2020 season. But not only did they pick up KD, they picked up Kyrie, they also picked up DeAndre. What's his name? DeAndre, was it Butler? Can't remember. DeAndre. The kid that played, oh my goodness. He played for the Clippers, and he went over to the Mavs, and his name is escaping me right now, but a very large portion, so a big portion of the East, and up until like about, I want to say half an hour ago, everybody was picking the Nets to be a big prize in the East, but whoa, wait a second. The 76ers said, well, you know what, we can do something here too. They picked up a big prize in Al Horford. They re-signed Tobias Harris. And they did a sign and trade with Jimmy Butler, with Jimmy Butler going down to Miami and picking up a player or two for him. So now you got the Sixers and the Nets, and of course, will Kawhi Leonard stay with the Raptors? That's still a big question, and that hasn't been answered yet. A lot of transition in the East. Malcolm Brogdon goes from the Bucks to the Indiana Pacers. That makes that a large transition. In fact, Brogdon was actually mentioned as one of those people that the Lakers might get. Now, as of right now, I haven't really seen anything heading off to where the West has any real transition as far as the big names. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, other than maybe Ricky Rubio going to the Suns. That was a purported deal. Middleton also rejoined the Milwaukee Bucks, so they kept him. And there's some rumor control that Damian Lillard is going to be staying with the Blazers. So a lot of things going on there. And Klay Thompson, obviously, DeAndre Jordan, there you go. Thank you there, Jared. I knew you would be with me on that one. Obviously, the max that has been purported for Klay Thompson, again, they don't have to worry about KD. You can give Klay Thompson the max anyway, and I think that was going to happen. And honestly, with KD having a slowdown with his Achilles being out a year, Klay's going to be out a while with that ACL injury, but I think that's going to make the Warriors at least still a top-tier team in the West. Has the balance of power shifted from the West to the East with a rejuvenated team in New York? The Sixers doing some things to keep them a team to be reckoned with. There's been some signings. I can't remember the kid's name. A Eastern European, Vukovic, re-signing with Orlando. Orlando's got a decent team. Remember, they had the kid that they picked up last year, which was basically shelved until this next year. So, yes, the Celtics did get Kimba Walker. You know, it's really one of those things where we really don't know who is going to be okay. The New York Nets, as Tommy likes to say, is the Brooklyn Nets. Excuse me. Excuse me. He is correct, though. I don't care. But Tommy's right. Tommy's right. It is the Brooklyn Nets. Klay Thompson still out there is one of those things we have to see. I think that Klay's either going to stay with the Warriors or if he's going to go to the Lakers, because his father Michael played for the Lakers. I think he's going to stay with the Warriors, though. We'll see. I'm just waiting to see where all of these people that were purportedly going to the the Clippers and the Lakers, where are they going? I mean, the Knicks get D'Angelo Russell. Good player, but not really anything to speak of. And yeah, I got the baseball standings, but really, that's really, if you want to talk about baseball, we definitely will. Okay? So having said that, if you want to talk about baseball, I'm going to get my lines open. I did have a call, but I didn't realize I was still streaming. So again, apologies for whoever was calling before. We'll work on that. Line is open. So if you want to call, call in now. And what we'll do is make sure. There you go. There we go. Line is up. The number is there, 813-699-0834. I told you I'd get it. 813-699-0834. We'll work through these things. It's better than it was before. And it'll only get better each time. Can we say James Dolan not giving Katie a max offer? It's stupid. It's stupid, Jared. And that is one of the reasons why the Knicks are the Knicks are the Knicks. Because of the stupidity of things like that. And by the way, when you see on screen that it's time, that when a caller has at least 5 minutes, you'll know, because I'm going to tell people it's time to knock them out. 832, who am I speaking to?
Houston Raiders Steve. How you doing, Captain Jack?
Okay, good to see you as well, shipmate. I apologize. You for some reason, I thought it was you. I saw 832 and I said, it's got to be Steve, but not necessarily. For some reason, your number is not registering, and I apologize. I'm going to have to probably put a sticky up that says 832 and your other number equals Steve, because you're just not registering, and I apologize. But good to hear from you, shipmate.
Good to hear from you, shipmate. I was going to let you know that yesterday, DeAndre Washington, here from the Houston area, he had a football camp at Big City Renovation was out there. Israel Rodriguez's group and Jesse Hernandez and some of us were there. I got a little bit later than expected, but it was interesting because not only was obviously DeAndre there, but Michael Kraft and DJ Hayden.
Okay, I had to put the I guess the one glitch. Apparently, the one glitch is that I'm going to have to put the speakers on. Yeah, Steve, I apologize. I had to take the earphones out in order for people to hear you, so they didn't hear anything you said up until I apologize.
Sure. What I was just mentioning is that DJ Hayden was at the DeAndre Washington's camp, as well as football camp for the youth yesterday here in Houston, and also Michael Crabtree.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
It was really Go ahead.
No. That's awesome, man. So DJ and Crabtree. Now, DJ, the last I was looking, was a Lion, or did he? No, or wait? He went to the Jags, right?
That is correct. The Jags picked him up.
Yeah, and then obviously Crabtree was with the. Did he get picked up by anybody yet?
I don't think he has. Last time I remember, he was with the Ravens last year.
Right, and he got cut, and the Ravens end up picking up number 10 that we got rid of, the guy that always caught the touchdowns. Yeah, so that was the guy that the Ravens picked up. Crabtree was not on a team the last I heard. So, I mean, Crabtree will find himself a team. But now this was with whose camp was this?
DeAndre Washington, the running back for the Raiders, the one from Texas Tech. He's from Houston. Actually, he was born in Dallas, but he played in Fort Bend County, just right outside of Houston.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
That's a good marshal.
Yeah. So again, and I'm glad that I took the Seth Roberts. Thank you there, Tommy. As soon as I saw the name, I got it. How was the camp, or did you stick around for it, or give me some of the highlights other than the people that were there?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see as much as I expected to, because I had some delays with, at the post office and the car dealership and all that kind of stuff. But they said that the camp went really well and everybody had a great time. That they had to break it a little bit early because it was so hot yesterday. As you know, as thoroughly as it is in Florida and other parts of the United States, the dog days of summer literally, because it's just so blooming hot right now.
Yeah. Well,
but they said the camp went well. This is the second year that he's had this camp. Last year, Jalen Richard was at his camp, was what I was told, but it went really smoothly, and they had a lot of youth involved, which is promising for our, future stars. It's great what they do to give back.
Well, that's awesome. I'm going to try while you're doing this. I'm going to see if I can figure out how I can get people to hear you while having my headphones in. For some reason I can't get crapola. Oh well. Such is life.
Sure.
Hey, no worries. That's what we'll work with it. Like I said, at least most of the stuff is working tonight, and that's the good thing.
It is. I was going to tell you one thing that I always do, as well as, and I know you always do the same thing, is July 4th, I always go out and celebrate Al Davis's birthday. I go to Molly's Pub, which is my Raiders bar, and we all talk about Al, and sometimes once in a blue moon we get a cake and everything. I know a place that makes especially Raiders cake for special occasions, and that's definitely a special one, but it's pretty amazing. But I wanted to tell you something that I found really interesting.
Go ahead.
You know, Chuck McCann is with the president of the New Jersey Black Hole chapter, and his wife was somewhere, and she found an autographed Kenny Stabler picture and everything. Well, back of course when he played for the Oilers, and I just want to let everybody know. Everybody remembers all the great games he had as a Raider, and that great game that he had against the Saints where they came back when they were down four touchdowns, and that was against Archie Manning in the Superdome, Monday Night Football.
Yep, I always say that it was like they saw Kenny. He was lying on his ass. They put him down, and then and I can't remember which book this was in. I think it was one of Madden's books, and it said that they had the camera panned right to Kenny, and he had that look in his eyes. And it was like, he said, yeah, this game is over. He said, yeah, it is indeed over. The Raiders are going to win. He goes, what do you mean the Raiders are going to win? They said they're down 4 touchdowns. He said, I just saw the look in Kenny's eyes. Trust me, the Raiders are going to win this game. And sure enough, they came down from 4 touchdowns. And I think it was like 38 to 35 or 41-38, something like that.
You're exactly right, because it was just a horrible first half, but it's amazing how they came back. But his best game that I can remember when he played for the Oilers, of course, I was excited living in Houston, being a Raider fan. Not only did they get the Snake on a 1-for-1 trade with Pastorini, but they also ended up giving Casper and also Tatum and everything. But the best game that I can remember him having as an Oiler, Walt Michaels was the coach. It was November 23rd, 1980. I did some research on this. Remember watching the game with my parents. The Jets were up 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. Kenny got back. We had a really great receiver that used to be a Jet. You remember the name Rich Castor, right?
Oh, I know Rich Castor, number 88.
Yeah, from Grambling. He caught like a 62-yard touchdown. Anyway, so they were down 20. They spotted him 21 points. Bum Phillips, of course, was the coach, and Kenny brought him back. Get this. I couldn't believe the stat when I read this. He had 33 completions, but he had 51 attempts. Let that set in. For 388 yards, and they came back, and it was 21-21, and then the Jets got a touchdown. We matched them. Rich Castor got another touchdown. Mike Barber had a touchdown, obviously, but they lost. At the end of the game to the Jets, 31-28. But I remember watching that game, and he was throwing everything. You know how Kenny was when he got in a groove and he was really hitting his stride. It was just like watching a surgeon. Captain Jack, you just watch this, and as a fan, you think, well, Kenny's going to bring him back. That's just right. What he does. He's the coolest cat on the field.
That's right, man. And I said it in blessings to Kenny. I definitely am hoping to have his daughters and also his last significant other. Hopefully I can get them on one of these days to come on, and we'll talk about that as well. But looking at Kenny Stabler, like I said, he didn't have the strongest arm. He didn't have a weak arm, but he didn't have the strongest arm. But I tell you, he was like a surgeon. And in fact, he would hit the people that he needed to hit. Obviously, Biletnikoff, and then later on, Bob Chandler had those precision routes. Obviously, Cliff Branch would roll and hit those spots as well. Hitting the tight end, like you said, Raymond Chester, not Todd Gray, but Raymond Chester and Dave Casper, precision routes and guys with sticky hands, and no pun intended with the sticky hands, but I mean, they caught everything that he threw at them, and that's just the way it was.
I know Mike Ciani, and it was amazing because Kenny would find places where you would sit there and you just think, oh my gosh, he's threading the needle. He's probably one of the most exciting quarterbacks I've ever seen. And I remember that game. They went out there and they lost that game against the Raiders out there when they did the pass. When they did that, and they came back to Houston, And my friends and I, we went out to the airport. We just wanted to greet Kenny and the team back because that was not a good game. I think they lost like 30-7 or something against the Raiders, a playoff game. But when Kenny was an Oiler, but of course we all remember him as a Saint. But I just remember watching those games and seeing Bumfeldt wearing his cowboy hat. He never wore it in the dome. His mama told him not to. But it was just when you watch Kenny, when you watch him play, you knew he was something really special. He's like a Haley's Comet. You don't see that very often. He had something really magic, and he was a left-hand thrower, southpaw, so that even made it more amazing.
Yeah, I tell you, and I'm hoping that we have something similar in the likes of Derek Carr this year, in the fact that obviously the second year under Gruden. Remember, Rich Gannon was the MVP of the league his second year under Gruden. I'm hoping that with this transition of the offense, second year under Gruden, that we break out, and that, granted, nobody's going to be like Kenny, but you know what? As long as he, being Derek Carr, can emulate some of that, you know, I feel really good things coming on. I really think really good things coming on.
I do too. You know what's amazing about that, shipmate, is you know, Kenny's had 17 come from behind wins, and Derek's got 16. And this year, I know that Kenny's probably up there smiling down, thinking, you know what? If anybody's going to beat my yardage record, which is going to happen this year fairly early with Derek, I think he would be really pleased that it was Derek Carr, because you know when you think of the Raiders, you always thought of Kenny and everything. You know, he's like it was named after. The likeness of the Raider was an actor that we all, I think.
Randolph.
Randolph Scott.
Randolph Scott. Yes, there you go. And yeah.
But don't you think that Kenny would be really proud that Derek's doing this? And one last thing I wanted to say, this is when you research Kenny, always look at this stat, the run in the mud. You've heard of that, the famous run he had against Auburn. It was one of the classic Iron Bowl games at the old stadium there in Birmingham and everything. But it was just a great run that he had. He put the game away, and Alabama won, I think, like 10-3 or something. And I was fortunate enough. Carolyn, his sister, she and I are friends on Facebook, and I said I'll never forget seeing the images on YouTube and everything, and hearing the stories about the run in the mud. That was just a great run that Kenny had. That's put him on the map, you know.
You're right, and I'm hoping that we have it this year. Like I said, that we can build that back there, Steve. We need it to happen.
I know. And you know what's amazing is when Kenny was here in Houston, he had a country and western club called the Diamondback. And then I've seen pictures. He used to go out to Gillies. That was right after Urban Cowboy with Deborah Winger and John Travolta. And there's pictures of him and Earl Campbell up there singing up on the stage. He did that once or twice at Gillies and everything. So he was, you know, Kenny was Kenny and everything. There'll never be another one like him. And God bless him. And we think about him. You know, I think about him all the time and everything. And of course, his daughters Kendra and Marissa and his other daughters and everything. And of course, his sister Carolyn, because I told them once on Facebook, I said, we'll never forget Kenny. He's always going to be in our hearts, you know, and your family is always going to be in our hearts for the daughters and his sister, because this has been a big part of our life, you know. I don't know, I get kind of emotional thinking about it, Captain.
You got it. Hey, always good hearing from you, Steve, and I appreciate the looks, shipmate. It's not a good show without you calling in.
No problem. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I was kind of surprised about Durant, but you know, it's amazing. Here it is, the dog days of summer, but it's interesting what they're doing with the NBA, and it's just going to be interesting to see where Kawhi goes.
I'm waiting because remember, Kawhi is the only. Well, I shouldn't say the only, but obviously we're waiting on Klay. But Kawhi and Klay are the two big top dogs that are still out there, and Klay might be wrapped up tomorrow. And then it's going to be, where's Kawhi going to go? Because they were talking about, but they were saying, well, maybe Kawhi is going to be with KD in the Clippers. Well, obviously that's not happening because KD is going to be going to the Nets with Kyrie. So is Kawhi going to stay now that KD is definitely not going to be joining him in Los Angeles? Will Kawhi maybe go to the Sixers. You know, do they have enough room? I don't know if the Sixers have enough room, but trust me, if there's a way to get them, they probably will. Or will Kawhi side with the Raptors again? Or will he go to Clippers? I don't know. And it's really going to be interesting to see where exactly he heads off to. Well, Steve, I got to head off and go there, shipmate.
Raise a glass for Al Davis on his birthday, and God bless. Happy and safe 4th, Captain.
Happy 4th to you there, Steve. And there is Tommy Beard. Let me make sure I get everything squared away here. I'm going to put this on. Let's see, transition. There you go, Tommy. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Now, y'all want to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Let's talk about him.
Okay.
There are reports that he has talking to Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Okay.
If I'm Kawhi, I'm staying where I was at.
Okay.
I'm not going to LA. I'm not going, because supposedly there's only certain teams that he's willing to go to. I do not, people are going to sit there and you go, wait a while. But I personally think Kawhi's going to take his time. He's going to make the right decision for him.
Okay.
I'm not worried. I'm not sweating it. I don't have a team in the race. I don't have an NBA team. My NBA team as a kid, it no longer exists.
Okay.
And if I was him, I'd stay where pretty much he's got us. They treated him like a queen or a king in Toronto.
Was that a Freudian slip, Tommy?
I'm just saying, he was treated, I mean, he does not have, what do I say? He's got a whole country behind him.
That's true. But
in Canada. He does not have just the city of Toronto. He has that whole country behind him.
Okay, and I agree with you there, and trust me, he has that in Toronto, but I can't remember which report I was listening to yesterday, or the other day I should say, where he's talking about how great it is, you know, how people love to play in Canada, and how this was this and that was, I think it was the Doug Gottlieb show I was listening to. And the Doug made some really good points. He said that, you know, people enjoy playing and getting the adoration and doing this and doing that. But here's the but. Doug Gottlieb himself was talking about how when he was playing over in, I think it was either Europe or Israel, and it was great. You know, Israel was magnificent. Playing in Europe was magnificent. And I'm gonna have to turn you down there, Tommy, because you got there's a lot of background noise there. I apologize with that's in your microphone.
Turned off.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was like a lot of background noise. There you go. Whatever it is, it's gone now. Hopefully you can still hear Tommy. There you go. But the point was, is like, it's not Israel and Europe is not the United States. And no matter what you can say, you're still not playing in the U.S. And things that you take for granted being overseas, you don't get being overseas. And even though it's Canada, it's still Canada. And, you know, I'm not going to get into any of the other political things, this, that, and the other thing. It's a matter of if you're playing in the States or if you're playing elsewhere. And Will Kawhi said maybe he'll take like maybe a one-on-one. I was listening. He might do a 1-and-1. That's possible. But I really want to see where he plays. Ed Winslow is saying that he's going to be a Laker. I don't think so.
I don't think he's going. Why? I mean, why?
I agree. Why would anybody
want to go there now?
Right.
I'm sorry. There is a reason why Magic Johnson said, you know what? I'm done with this stuff. That whole ownership is a dumpster fire. And I believe this is why Kawhi wanted to talk to Magic and want to know what was going on. Why'd you leave, and everything.
Yeah.
What is really the purpose?
Well, I mean, if Kawhi did talk with Magic on the QT, and that might be Tommy. It's got to be your phone. The rumblings. I apologize for the extra sound, but if Kawhi spoke to Magic on the QT, then we'll find out if Kawhi. I agree with you on the fact, Tommy, that I don't see him going to the Lakers. I don't see him going to the Lakers. I either see him staying in Toronto on a short-term deal, or maybe going to the Clippers. We'll see.
And there are reports coming out of Boston reporters and New York reporters. They did not name which players would not like to go back to London and play in that bullshit stadium again. They said they hated it. Now, it did not say which players. But there are players that have came out and said they did not like it.
Okay.
I'm going to be out and I'm going to say it again. This is stupid. It was stupid when the NBA sent the Wizards and Knicks over to China. It was stupid when the NFL started this shit in London. It's just stupid now with the Major League Baseball moving overseas. This is a American sports. Okay. You don't see soccer teams, Manchester and all them coming over here and playing. You don't see them bringing cricket over here. It is stupid.
Okay.
It's dumb. That shit would have never happened if that game would have been played in Boston. We still have not played them fucking Yankees going into July. And we still have not played them yet in Boston.
Okay. Now, you're saying that some players did not, there are reports. Some players didn't like it.
There are some players that did not like playing it. The ball, it was hard to see the ball.
That's true.
Because of the white seats, the roofing, and the way the sun shined in. They did not like the speed of the ball coming off the bat on the ground. They said it was faster.
Okay.
And they just said, the way what else was it? Something about the foul territory.
Okay. Well, yeah, there was a lot of extra foul territory, which led to, I think, a bunch of doubles being turned into triples and a bunch of extra foul outs. That I saw. I didn't listen. I listened to the game yesterday, and I saw all of the game today. But I saw the differences. And
I do know next year the Cubs and Cardinals are going over.
That's true. Cubs and Cardinals the next year, and they're thinking maybe
then
Dodgers, Giants.
Where they talked about where it was going to be Dodgers, Giants.
That's why I just said Dodgers and Giants are penciled in for the third year. Well, I mean, this is just a way of getting the brand out there.
It's stupid. Well, I'm sorry. This is stupid.
Tommy, now let me ask the question. Do you know how many extra fans that the NBA got in China doing the overseas games? Because remember, how many billion Chinese are there?
Okay. It's stupid.
It's marketing, Tommy. It's a matter of money. When people will buy a jersey of Yao Ming in China, because of
Yao
the
Ming was already played years ago and retired before they even put two teams in China to do this. They just did it this year.
What I'm saying, Tommy, is that the amount of people that will buy extra things, that will buy extra jerseys because it's something that they enjoyed, and they'll say, hey, let's go out once a year. And I will tell you this, and I do
and then Winslow, they did not dominate. The Yankees did not dominate. They beat us by 4 fucking runs today. 4.
Tommy.
So don't even go around there saying they dominated. I can't wait. Let the Yankees win the East. Because the day they lose in the playoffs, I'm going to laugh my fucking ass off. Because this team is going to choke. Just like the Dodgers have choked for the last fucking 20 fucking years.
Okay, Tommy.
I'm going to laugh my ass off.
Okay.
Because you know what Red Sox have done in the last couple of years? We've won the ring. Something that the Dodgers ain't done in a couple of years, last 40 years.
Okay, Tommy, we get it. We get it.
It's just stupid. I didn't like it when the NFL did it. I didn't like it when it's stupid.
Okay.
It's stupid.
Well, it's a matter of branding, money, bottom line.
You got money over here in the States. Use it in the States.
Tommy, if you just keep it in the States, you're losing out on the worldwide market. That's what this is for.
You want to send teams over, send the Rays over there and send the Marlins. Because, hell, they don't sell out at home. Hell, maybe they'll have a sellout game for a home game.
They're way down on the list, Barner. Trust me. They're way down on the list. But
so what's going on with this Rays thing?
Oh.
Because I do know where there was a meeting. They had some guy in some office. It was a video. I've seen it on Twitter where he went off. And he was talking about not buying Rays tickets and not this or not that or whatever anymore. And he put out a protest to all Rays fans to not show up anymore and all this stuff.
Are you talking about the African American gentleman that just went off?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was at the press conference that they had the other day with Stu Sternberg, and he just had a conniption fit that was there for the media. It was a media outburst. Now, granted, he is a Rays fan. He is pissed off. But it's one person that gets his 15 minutes of fame and glory on Twitter and YouTube and things like that to get a word across. Yeah, he's mad. He's mad. But is that going to eventually wear out for everybody? No. He's one fan. He's one fan with one voice. So
you got to admit that this is bad.
Oh,
you have a winning team and they can't sell out.
Yeah,
a winning team and you cannot sell tickets.
Partner, I got you. I live here, and it's horrible. But you know what? It is what it is. What it is. Okay, and if the folks here don't want to go, it's because of the stadium.
I can't wait till the playoffs. So don't make the playoffs.
Hopefully,
what are they going to do then for the playoffs?
What if they go to Montreal and here?
No, say this year. Don't make the playoffs this year.
Oh well,
Tampa, unless they completely collapse, and I don't see it happening. But if they do, then so be it. But what are they going to do then? Are the fans going to actually show up for the playoffs?
That remains to be seen, Tommy. That's probably the $1 million question: is what will the fans do in support of the Rays if and when they make the playoffs? It'll be a good question to see.
I mean, don't make the play. I still say 3 teams out of the East make the playoffs.
Okay.
I really do. The Red Sox will make the wild card.
I don't know about that. Remember,
the Red Sox will win the playoff. Okay. Or make the playoffs.
Okay.
The Rays will make the playoffs, and that wild card game will be played in Tampa.
Okay.
Where we have played well in Tampa against the Rays this year. Our problem is playing them in Boston.
That's true. That's true.
We have not beat them. I don't think we've beaten them yet in Boston, but we have. I think we've lost 1 or 2 games in Tampa.
It was either 3-1 or a 2-2 on the 4-game series. I think you might have won the series 3-1 down here, and that the Rays swept you, I think, 3-0 in Boston. Am I correct on that?
No, we've not beat you all at all. I don't think in Boston.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I think it's,
no. That's what I said.
I think it's 5-0 Tampa in Boston.
Right. Well, I know the Rays swept you in Boston. I think it was a 3-game series, and I think it was either 2-2 or 3-1 where the Red Sox beat the Rays, or it was tied here. It might have been that the Sox won 3 out of 4 here. So I think it's about that.
It seems to be our kryptonite, the Blue Jays and you all at home when we play at home.
Well, there's still a lot of games to be played yet, Tommy. Still a lot of games.
I'm not sweating yet because I remember, 2010 when the Red Sox, I think it was 2010, when the Red Sox were out 10 games.
Uh-huh.
And we came back and we won the division.
We've been on for...
And I remember the Nationals being, Jesus, they were up on the Mets, 15, 16 games?
Yeah.
Going into the All-Star game, and they collapsed?
I mean, there's been plenty of monumental collapses. The Phillies in 64, I believe, when Gene Mauch had a conniption. So there are monumental collapses, Tommy. Things
and like I said, we still have not played the Red Sox in Fenway yet. We have not played the Yankees in Fenway, and we don't play us them again. I looked at the schedule today. We do not play the Yankees until the end of July. I think it's like the 25th, and there's like a 4-game series. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Fenway.
Okay.
If we do not win 3 or 4, I'll admit the East is gone.
Well, we will wait on that, and always good talking to you, Tommy.
Yep.
That was Tommy Beard, and we are going to shift gears and talk to Jared out of Pittsburgh. Jared, how you doing there, brother?
Good, Captain Jack. How you doing?
I'm good. It's always good to hear fans who are extremely, just like you. Tommy is definitely an effusive fan of his team, and that's always great to hear. And like you said, with Steve and Tommy, and I know I got you on, so talk to me about what you want to talk about, brother.
Well, let's talk about the NBA free agent pool, how James Dolan should be strung by his balls right now in New York City tonight. I mean, he is definitely not a very liked man tonight in New York, that is for sure, however, especially after missing on Kyrie and KD and going with Julius Randle. I mean, $21 million for 3 years. I mean, like he said at the beginning, it's the bottom line. I mean, the NBA free agent pool is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we're just waiting on Kawhi Leonard to make his decision. And the question is, will he make it tomorrow? Will he make it Tuesday? We don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's the point. Kawhi doesn't have to go and do anything quickly because KD has already made his choice, and Kyrie is out, Kimba's out. It's basically Kawhi will have the grounds to himself. He is the big number one that is ready to go. And other than Klay signing his contract, that there's nothing else that really needs to be said, really.
Yeah. And then, of course, you got baseball. Of course, the big story, of course, Josh Bell made it to the All-Star game. I mean, he should have made it overall over Freddie Freeman. I'm sorry to say that, but he should have made it over Freeman originally. However, now he's going to be a reserve. Plus, he's going to be in the Derby. They had a rough weekend, obviously, in Milwaukee, losing 2 or 3 after bringing out the bat from Houston, 2 out of 3 there. Now they got the Cubs in Milwaukee this week, starting tomorrow night with a week-long close-in. And this is the critical part of the season. They're still kind of in the chase at the moment. However, I mean, I did see a little bit of the Yankee Red Sox thing yesterday in the highlights, and I saw some of the game earlier today. However, I mean, I thought it was interesting they would go over to London. And like you said, now I'm hearing that you just mentioned the Cubs and the Cardinals. My girlfriend loves the Cubs, so obviously I have to tell her about that. But it's crazy they're going to go to London in the next couple of years. I mean, I'm glad they're going to try to expand the game a little bit more. I mean, they've done it already in Japan. Now let's see how the English and the European public take it. Because I didn't see the fan attendance, what they drew in London. But I would imagine they drew probably 40, 45, 50,000. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Well, what Fox was reporting today was it was 60K.
Wow, that's good. Good for them then, and that's good. That gives the European fans something to look forward to besides soccer and, like I said, all the stuff over there. So they got a little taste of baseball. They haven't had that in a long time. So, I mean, it was good to see something like that happen now.
Yeah, like I said, now I don't know whether that was the actual count, but I know that it was definitely 2 sold-out events. And the other thing is about, and I didn't get a chance to put this in when Tommy was talking about it because it was hard to get a word in edgewise. Hey, Homer, how you doing? Is the fact that the London games in the NFL, they are sold out all the time because they have season tickets for all 4 games, and the folks there buy them up. And it's not just the English that do it. There are people that come in from all of the countries, the Scandinavian countries that come over from France, a lot from Germany and the Netherlands, and some from Italy.
Yep.
It's all sold out for all 4 of the games. So the thing is that those games are sold out. The tickets are reasonable. I mean, I think that they were, if I remember right, I think they were $60 or $75 a ticket for one ticket, and it, reasonably priced. And a lot of things are that obviously it's all Europeans and then a bunch of Americans. They get a chance to travel over, with the MWR, that's Morale, Welfare, and Recreation for folks that are not in the military. The MWR gets these tickets as well, so you have these people that are Americans get a chance to come over and join in as well. So it's a good thing. It's about, where you put a product out there, you get the branding out, and maybe you're going to get some fans that would not normally know what baseball is, get a chance to see it live and in person. Now, the thing is with that is that if the BBC carries it, then it's then it's better for the English market as well. But it is carried on the Armed Forces Network. It's carried over there for sure. So, and there are other people that can get the AFN feed. So they're gonna get fans that are European. Now it's not gonna be that number one sport. It's obviously soccer, or what they call football.
Right. And besides the Armed Forces Network, they'll get it on Westwood One too. I mean, Westwood One, I think, goes globally around the world too. I think, throughout the market, I know that Westwood One's always big in that area too.
Yeah.
The other big thing, of course, going on here is hockey. And we just traded Phil Kessel last night. How we got 2 prospects. And like I said, I think Jim Rutherford and the Penguins are going to have to burn up the thing. But I haven't heard too much any big name hockey free agents. I mean, I know that starts tomorrow as well, but we haven't heard any big name hockey free agents that are out there in the open market. I mean, we knew one of them was last week. I mean, Carlson or whatever, he signed that big deal with San Jose, and like I said, I think the Penguins are going to play nuts to make a deal with a few teams. But it seems like this year there's not many big name free agents out there in the NHL market this year I've seen so far.
Well, the one kid that was playing for the and I can't remember he was a defenseman that was. Oh my God! I apologize. I can't remember his name. He was the one free agent out there that was a big name guy, and everybody was saying that, oh, this is the guy, this is the guy. But he ended up signing with somebody early, so he was already off the market. And I'm not sure whether he re-signed with the team that he was playing for, or if somebody picked him up. Yeah, if you're saying the free agency is starting like soon, then he was probably picked up by his team. Now, there were reports of this one other defender he wasn't a defender, he was a centerman that was a big name centerman. He was actually seen here in in South Howard in one of the nicer restaurants. But the thing is that he would be a free agent that would garner a big money contract, and the Lightning already have like 3 or 4 centermen that they don't need another one unless they maybe got rid of Tyler Johnson. So there isn't that many big name free agents out there that I can think of in hockey, and and one of the reasons why is nobody's really talking about it. So you're right on that. And with Phil Kessel, was that more of a salary cap dump than anything else?
Yeah, because he had $8 million left to go, and I think Rutherford didn't want to put up with that, like I talked to you before. I think there was a lot of clashing between him and Sullivan in the locker room, and I think they wanted to just dump him while they could. I mean, they got a 25-year-old out of this and a 20-year-old kid. Like I said, now they're talking about Malkin, Hornquist, possibly, like I said, Letang. I can't see Letang leaving because he averages 25, 28 minutes on the ice. Malkin's going to be 31, 32. He's still your second guy behind Crosby. Hornquist, I mean, he just signed that contract last year. I don't know. I mean, they wanted him. Jack Johnson's another guy I keep hearing about. I don't know. The Penguins are going to make some roster moves, but like I said, right now, it seems like all is quiet on the Western Front, to use the term loosely with the NHL. But like I said, we'll see probably in the next few days which big guys are staying, which ones are going. Because like I said, the NBA is the topic of the hour. And like I said, it started at 6 o'clock tonight. And like I said, I think it's going to be done pretty soon here in the next half hour, 45 minutes or so for the night. But it's been a very active evening, to say the least.
For sure. Now, and like you said, that I think that they don't want to have to go. Really, they don't want to go head to head with the NBA because obviously, when you compare the NBA and the NHL, there are more people that are attuned to what's going on in the NBA. I'm actually not one of them. I'm actually an NHL guy. But like you said it yourself, there's not a lot of big names that have been bantied about as being a free agent. So, we'll see what actually happens. I'd be curious. And when I saw that Kessel was traded, I was like, wow, they got rid of a cornerstone of that franchise.
I was out last night down the street with my buddies down the street. However, we were just sitting having a bonfire at his place and drinking beer, and all of a sudden my buddy says on his phone, 8:30, says the Pens just straight Kessel. I said, you're kidding me? And I pull up my phone. 10 minutes later, comes on my phone about 8:45. I'm like, whoa, something's up here then. So we had a discussion about that for a good couple hours last night.
Now this is the big question. Was it Rolling Rock?
It was actually
Iron City beer.
Yeah, if we do any beer, mostly we do Yingling, we do ice,
Yingling!
like that sort of thing.
There you go. That's the proper answer, brother. That's the proper answer. Because if I'm going to drink any beer, I'm drinking Yingling because that's where my mom's from.
That's my beer. That's my beer right there.
Well, you've gone up 1,000 credit points on me, man. Just saying it was Yingling, big guy. Trust me.
All right. Well, listen. You have a good holiday. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Great hearing from you, Jared. Thanks again, shipmate.
You too. See ya. Bye.
All right, that's Jared, and I'm going to do another transition here, and there we go. The point is that, and I didn't get a chance to do this because we were had some call after call. I like that, trust me, by the way. And if you pay attention, like I said, if you see what's going on, you will see that when the number's up, obviously, it's time to call. When you see the knockout the caller, that means he's been on his 5 minutes. It's easy because sometimes I can't get a word in edgewise. So pay attention to the screen. If it says knock out the caller, that means he's been on for 5 minutes, okay? I'm making it easy for you. I'm making it easy for you. Now, I didn't get a chance to do this earlier, but I wanted to show you this. And this is mixed reviews, okay? This is a Randy Moss Oakland Raider action figure. Oh, Jimmy, hang on, Jimmy. Let me get Jimmy's call before it goes away. Jimmy, hang on a second. I'm going to start the clock in a second. I want to get through with this thought, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, and Raider Homer already said boo. I get it. This was given to me by my buddy who I went out with. I'm a Navy chief, and my buddy, a senior chief, said, hey, Jay, I got something for you. Now, this is a collector's item. I know it is because, A, Randy Moss doesn't portend to be a Raider, and we all know that as well. But the thing is that he was kind enough to give this to me. There, obviously, for the 2 years he was on the Raiders, we don't like him, but I thought it was really nice that this is something that will definitely be in my collection. So the Randy Moss action figure, it's like, the NFL thing. It's rare because I don't ever remember seeing it. So, I mean, this is cool. This is cool. So I'm going to put this up. Yes, it's Randy Moss. Yes, we hate him. I get it, but it's still pretty cool to have something to add to your collection. So I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to thank my buddy who gave that to me. And I'll make sure that your clock starts. It starts now, Jimmy Farrell. How you doing, brother?
What's up, my brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
Well, I'm just was watching the NHL channel about the free agents, and to answer that caller who just called, he's wrong about big name free agents. I mean, did he forget Panarin is a free agent? Pavelski is who is going to the Stars with Zuccarello.
That was the name, Pavelski. That was the guy I was trying to think of, Pavelski.
Yeah, he went to the Stars.
Okay, because he was seen here. He was seen here at a Tampa restaurant. I couldn't remember his name.
Mm-hmm. And Zuccarello went to the Stars. Duchesne's probably going to Predators.
And Panaro's probably going to my team, and I think Pavelski's going to Florida.
Okay.
And we might sign Volomov.
Who?
So Volomov, I believe he's on. I think he's on the Canucks, maybe.
Okay. Well, that's probably one of the reasons why, if he's a Canuck, I don't get a lot of airplay on him. I'm sure he's great, but I've never heard of him.
Okay. What was I going to say? About Tommy, I mean, are you kidding me? Your bullpen was putrid today. You had a 4-0 lead. The Yankees scored 2 runs right after that, and then you gave up 8 runs. Your first baseman, I thought it was Bill Buckner playing first. Are you kidding?
I said that right when it happened. I'm sorry, Tommy. I said
Bill Buckner playing. What was that? He still couldn't get. And Gary Sanchez is running first. He's one of the slowest guys on the team, and he still couldn't get him out. And he didn't.
He didn't.
Are you kidding me? You guys were bamboozled today. Don't tell me the Yankees didn't dominate you guys. You guys were never in the series. Never.
Well, now technically they were in the series for about the first 6 innings today.
Yeah, the first inning. Yeah, that was it.
No,
the first inning.
No. Well, no. Wait a second. They were leading 4. Was it 4-2?
They were winning 4-0 at one point.
Right. But when I got a chance, I woke up a little bit later. They were winning 4-2, I believe.
Yeah, and then they gave up 8 runs.
And then they gave up 8 runs. And I saw that inning, and they sent 14 to the plate that inning. 14.
Their bullpen gave up 10, 11 runs in this series?
Yeah, the bullpen.
I think it was the Mets playing.
You're stealing my best stuff here, Jimmy. I said I thought it was the Mets bullpen, and they shipped out the wrong bullpen over to them. You're stealing my best shit, man. I'm telling you.
Did you hear about what the Mets did? Oh my God!
As far as what?
I hate to be a Mets fan right now. They celebrated the '69 Mets.
Yeah.
And on the screen, they have, people who passed away.
Right.
And 2 of the guys on the team are not dead.
Who did they have?
Are you kidding?
Who did they?
My son told me this. He works for the Mets, and he's embarrassed to be a Mets fan right now.
So they had 2 people that were allegedly dead.
Well, there was 3 people who passed away on the screen. 2 of them are still alive.
Oh my God!
I don't know if they were at the ceremony. I hope not. That'd be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay.
I mean, when I heard that, I'm like, no, that can't be right. Well, yeah, it can be right because they're on the Mets. You know. I mean, it's my girlfriend's a Mets fan, and she can't watch them. They're just I mean, they lost today, right?
The last time I checked, it was 3-3. The Braves had tied it up, and I turned it off because. And apologies for being late tonight, but I was working to try to get myself, Raider Homer, and Raider Critique, and Raider Voice. We're trying to work on my OBS, and we couldn't get it to work. Obviously it finally worked, so I had to get some help from the Geek Squad, and we figured it out. Good thing. But because it was so late, I didn't get a chance to eat, so I had to go out and get something to eat, which is why I put out the advertisement saying, hey, we're going to have a show tonight, but it's going to be late. So apologies for there. But, I did want to do the show. Obviously, the one thing that I can't do, which is unfortunate, is I can't use the headphones. So there is going to be a little bit of an echo. I apologize. But, we're going to get this to be the best that I can to be. And Tommy says that D'Angelo Russell is going to Golden State 4 years at $117 million. Okay. Now,
and as a Knicks fan, I think a lot of Knicks fans don't want Durant because of his injury. I'm glad he went to the Nets because he's not even going to play next year.
Right, but it's called a installment plan. You get him when he's healthy. You get him now. Kevin Durant is what, 32 years old?
He'll be 33, 34 by the time he plays.
Okay. Well, remember, there are plenty of players that played up into their 40s that were still pretty good basketball players. I know some guy
recovering from Achilles injury. Okay. That's a really delicate injury right there.
It's true. It's true. You know that there will be. I mean, it's not optimum, but you know, it isn't too bad. Oh, I lost my phone. There it is. Okay, wanted to make sure I knew where it was on. Okay, but yeah, it's not optimum, but it's not bad. To be honest, though, I think that is a matter of what's the word I'm looking for? We didn't get him, so we're going to say, well, we really didn't want him because of the injury. I still think that's BS, Jimmy. I really think.
What the Knicks said.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. They're going to say that because they lost out on him, and Dolan didn't want to pay the max deal. They said, we didn't want to pay the max deal, and because we didn't want to pay the max deal, it really was because of his Achilles injury. I think that's BS. Yeah. That's the Knicks were cheap on that, and because they were cheap, they're going to spin it public relations wise to say it was because of the injury. I think it's because they were cheap, and it's Jimmy Dolan being the owner of the Knicks, man. I can't explain it otherwise.
Right. I was watching you mentioned this guy who covers the Raiders Stadium.
Yeah.
And he was videotaping today, putting the roof by the torch. And by watching it, it's really amazing what these engineers guys are doing. I mean, to put that roof together and held it by a bunch of nuts and bolts, it's really incredible how they, put this whole thing together. And I heard that one of the trusses was off by eighth of an inch or something like that. So
right.
they had to change the truss.
Yeah, one of the trusses that was was responsible. They tried to fix it while it was up. They couldn't fix it while it was there, so they ended up taking the truss down, fixing it on the ground, and putting it back up. And this was where all the reports were saying that, oh yeah, man, the Raiders Stadium's going to be late. Bullshit. Okay, these are just people that are spinning the words because they don't want to say that the Raiders are leaving. And by the way, I didn't get it. I finally saw the report, and because it's out there on Twitter, and I think it's Twitter, about and I'm sorry to say, Dr. Death, who and only because of his name being Dr. Death, the Raider fan, formerly known as Dr. Death, has pledged his allegiance to the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm like, man, Ray, what are you doing, Ray? What are you doing? So I finally saw. I didn't realize what people were talking about the other day when I had the program on, and I just saw it it was like yesterday. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Did you hear about the Raiders are focusing on this Clemson quarterback for next year?
Well, he's not going to be available next year. I thought he had another. Yeah, in 2 years. Yeah, the kid that won the national championship this year is there. That's who they're going to focus on. But here's the thing: in 2 years, the Raiders could ultimately be a participant in the AFC championship game. So if they want to get this quarterback, they're going to have to.
How are they going to get a top pick for him? They would have to trade for him.
Exactly. They're going to have to trade up to number 1 to get that kid. And that, to me, that's what it's going to come down to, is when he's coming out in the draft, okay, whoever has the number 1 pick normally is a team that obviously sucks and obviously is going to be quarterback hungry. If they're going to have to give up a big mortgage to get the top pick in order to pick up that kid,
they would have to give all their picks away.
Right.
Like, what's his face when he was with the Saints?
Oh, the Ricky Williams, trade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And nobody is worth an entire draft. Nobody.
Yeah. No.
Nobody's worth
No.
it. I mean, the Herschel Walker trade that the Dallas got, a bevy of picks for Herschel Walker when they traded him to the Vikings, I think turned out to be like
Probably the greatest trade ever made.
yeah, right. Because I think that it turned out to be at least one or two Hall of Famers, and a bunch of players that were big key components on the Cowboys winning 3 of their 5 rings. So no team, no player is worth that. No team would give that up. But you know what? If they want, and I can't remember the kid's name. I mean, he's a prototype quarterback, as far as height and arm strength and all that things. But he's not even going to be available for 2 years. And then Homer says Carr's our quarterback. Yeah, right now he is. Now he is. But you know what? Stuff happens. And again, I like Derek Carr, and I want him to have. I want him to have all the opportunity to prove himself in that. But you know what?
Yeah.
You're looking ahead, and if you're not looking ahead, you're behind. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back to baseball. I just saw that 2 things. I saw that Todd Frazier and DeGrom are in the All-Star game. Are you kidding? Todd Frazier?
Well, Todd Frazier's been one of the better players on the Mets, because obviously the Mets.
No, not Alonso's the player.
Well, yeah, Alonso, but remember, Alonso's in a position where he's going up with a bunch of other people and by name, because Alonso's an outfielder, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When you
And
go,
Don Smith is I don't know why they're not playing him, but he's a good player too.
well, pardon me, excuse me on that. Not just staying up late. It's a matter of numbers. I mean, and Tommy gave his dissertation the other day about how stupid it was to have Aaron Judge being getting all of the points and the votes he had. I get it, but while there's still going to be players that get the fan vote, it's going to be it's going to be what it is. So Alonso deserves to be in there, but he is going to be in the home run derby anyway.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with Tommy said about this game, but thought of me is both teams wore home jerseys. I was like, what the hell is that? Yesterday they both wore whites,
Right.
and the Red Sox wore red, and Yankees wore home. I'm like, and they were up first, and I'm like, wait a minute, which is the home team here? It's
Well,
kind of confusing.
Right, with the Red Sox and I was under the impression, and I was wrong, by the way. I was under the impression that it was a home and home, that both teams were giving up home games, and that they would each have they would each be home 1-1. And I was surprised to find out that the Red Sox gave away both games. Oh, you're right. You're right there. I got to do that. There we go. Thank you there, Ed. Thank you there. When I do knock out the caller,
Well, I heard that the home team, which is the Red Sox, have a choice of what uniform to play.
Right.
So I don't know how the visiting team gets. Do they get a choice too? I mean, or they choose? I don't know. It's very confusing tonight.
Yeah.
As far as the stadium, I mean, besides the foul.
Gotta let you go there, Jimmy. You take care, shipmate.
All right, take care. Bye.
Ed Winchell, how are you doing, brother? Let me change the graphics so we get everything squared away like we should. There we go. All right, how you doing there, Ed?
Good, Captain. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I will work with this. Like I said, we got OBS working, and I will get the bugs worked out. I figured out, thanks to you, that you guys couldn't hear the caller, So again, apologies there, but at least we'll get it to work swimmingly eventually, and
I know you will.
we'll get things good to go. So how you doing there, brother?
I'm doing great. I really love baseball, and as far as some of your callers are in left field about baseball and their passion, it's really great to have the opportunity to hear their opinions about their teams.
That's true.
I think it's great, and I enjoyed listening to callers about it tonight because baseball is what's happening right now.
That's right, and unfortunately, baseball is what's happening for the next really month and a half until training camp, and really nothing really happens until August anyway, and then it really doesn't happen until the 1st of September because training camp is training camp, and the way that they have the cuts nowadays, you don't see these people that are available until the last cut down, and because you keep them all throughout camp. You have one big cut down and that's it, and then it's a free for all to see who's on the market. So that's going to be. I mean, I think this is the second year that they're doing it. And it's going to be very strange to work. So basically, until the 1st of September, really, because preseason games are just that, preseason games. Baseball is what's going on until September.
That's true. And I wanted to bring something up about NBA time. I really think that Klay Thompson is going to wait to hear what Kyrie does. Because you got to look at. You
mean Kawhi?
What's that?
You mean Kawhi, right?
Kawhi, right? Kawhi.
Okay.
Kawhi, Kareem.
Yeah. It was.
What happened to John, George, Steve, and Bob?
Yeah. Well, actually, they just said the other day is like how many wonderful players that begin their name with K. There's Kawhi, Kyrie, Klay, Kevin, and they and another dude that I couldn't remember. It's like, wow, man, there are a bunch of K's out there.
There are. But what I was saying, Cap, is that I think that Thompson's going to wait until Leonard makes his pick, and I think Thompson's basing his next year on what's my best chance of getting a chip. He's got a taste of the chips, but he didn't get one this year. And if you look at KD leaving the Warriors, I don't think they're going to be as they proved in the finals against Toronto.
They're a good team with a bunch of flaws if you don't have all your pieces there.
No. Now, if he's looking at the Lakers and saying, "Hey, they got LeBron, they have AD, they have Kyrie."
Well,
then I'm going there.
Does
that make sense?
If Kawhi goes there, is what you're saying, but
Yeah,
they got Kuczema, who's the other K, right? So you got Kuczema, you got LeBron, and you got the Brow. Now, if Kawhi goes there, then Klay might go there, and that would be a hell of a roster. But do they have the money? And I don't think they have the money. They can get a supermax deal with one of them. It's either going to be Kawhi, and then Klay would have to take less. So we'll see how it rolls down, because the way that the money is, unless you want to go way over the not the salary cap, but the luxury tax, wow, the Lakers would be paying up the yin-yang if they brought in all those. And you can only have so many players that are on a supermax deal and a max deal, and then everybody else is pegged at a certain level. It is a salary cap in that respect. There's only so many high-value contracts you can have on a team, and then Klay would have to take less, and we'll see if that happens. The
Warriors just traded Ngagwa to the Memphis.
Okay, and he was what the center they had?
Yeah, with the Warriors, and they just got rid of him. He went to Memphis. So this team is collapsing in front of us.
Yeah, It is.
Because they know there's no chance for a chip. Seth isn't going to do it. Seth and Thompson, I don't think, can do it. So I think they're going to focus on, do players, I don't know, what you probably know better than me. When players have got 10 years under their belt in whatever sports, what's more important, the money or the chip, or is it predicated on the player? I mean, for the most part, what would you think?
It's predicated on the player because there are a lot of players nowadays. It's important to the player depending upon the player. Do I want to get paid or
do I want a chip?
Do I want a chip? Now, obviously, players that already have a chip, they want to get paid and maybe go to a place where they can get another chip, or they're going to take less to go, and those are usually that I'm going to take a little less to get another chip, or if they have a chip and they said, well, I already got a ring, what's another ring? It also is, are they a Hall of Fame player? Because if they're a Hall of Fame type player, they said, I need to make sure that my credentials are stocked a little bit better. And if my credentials are stocked a little bit better, then I can say, hey, I want a chip, and we're gonna go from there. So it all depends upon the player, Ed, and we see a bunch of that.
Well, I know that after 10 years, they got more money they can spend. I think at this point, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, to a player like LeBron, to a player like we're talking about, legacy probably has to come in to focus when you're talking about what's more important to a player.
Yeah.
Legacy, money, no one's going to remember what Klay Thompson made 15 years from now, but they're going to hear when he says, I have 5 rings.
Right.
That right there puts you into a incredible company with 4 or 5 wins. I mean, what does Michael got? 6?
Jordan has 6.
Yeah. So I mean, Klay can easily rack up 2 in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my thinking about Klay, and I think a lot has to do with what Kyrie does and what he decides to do.
Yeah,
but the Lakers are definitely favored to be in the finals above any other team.
Yeah, according to Vegas. Because now that's a money line thing. It's like, what are the bettors going to bet on? And that's a good bet for. That's why Vegas put it out as soon as AD went over there, and
they went to the top.
They went to the top because it's a good bet for Vegas, and they say, okay, the odds are for this, and that's why they said X, Y, and Z. It's not necessarily that they are the favorite. I'm sorry to say that, Ed, or I'm sorry to say that, Elder AJ. It's because it's the best bet out there. That's how Vegas operates. And it's say, hey, are the Lakers are the favorites because people are going to bet on that. Then they're going to put the line out there with X amount to get people to roll in on it. So yeah, it's the best bet out there for Vegas because will it pay out or not? And they're thinking about whatever the odds are, it may or may not.
I agree. Forget about Thompson. Forget about Kyrie for a minute. Right now, Sunday night, 10:30, 11 o'clock your time. Who do you think is the best basketball team in the NBA?
Wow. Right now?
Tonight. Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't. I actually I gotta see what the hell the rest of the rosters are because again, the Sixers are still a strong team. Technically, right now, the best team in basketball is still the Raptors because Kawhi hasn't gone anywhere. The Lakers are the Lakers are a favorite, but are they the best team in the West? They might be a favorite in the West, but I want to see how the rosters pan out. I know the Warriors are down. I know the Warriors are maybe maybe the third best team in the West behind based on roster right now. They got Curry, and that's about it, because I don't know who else. I got to let you go, Ed.
Okay, partner.
You take care.
God bless.
Reggie, what's going on, brother? Good to hear from you. Doc.
Hey, how you doing there, buddy? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm getting my transitions out so that people know when to call and whatnot. So, hey, I'll get it, and I appreciate everybody calling in. I think this works a little bit better than having that poster board. Although I do have the poster board out there for people that aren't watching on on Facebook. Hopefully we get some people out there when we get the lead there. So I'll work the issues. I'll get it out there, and I'm enjoying the fact we got some good visuals, not just me looking in on a camera. We got some other shit to look at. So hey, we'll get it to go better. How you doing there, Doc?
Just getting back from vacation, doing pretty good. Just got back from Myrtle Beach, so
Myrtle Beach.
having a good time.
Outstanding. And so you went before Bike Week?
My family goes the same time every year, and we run the beach house this time, and got some really young kids, so it's better for us to go before Bike Week.
Yeah, I got you. Now I heard that there was a bunch of sharks out there.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. But luckily, they don't like fat guys, so I was all right. too fatty to die for them, I guess.
There you go. He said, "No, I want something that's a little bit leaner. I don't want the ribeye. I want the sirloin."
But talk about Myrtle Beach. My brother has two twins. Has a twins, boy and a girl, 4 years old. So I decided to make a pirate chest and then dig them up each individual. Put some old silver coins and stuff like that in it for them. And they asked the question, "You know pirates?" "Yeah." "Well, what's the name?" I couldn't think of none, so I used yours real quick. So they dug up Captain Jack's treasures up on Myrtle Beach. They were just happy as two little kids to slop.
Oh, okay.
They were happy.
So Calico Jack's treasure, huh?
Yeah, they got Captain Jack's treasure, man. I couldn't think of no other name, so I said Captain Jack. That's what we'll do.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm digging that, and tell him that I'll give him a yard the next time I see him, and hopefully have some treasure for him as well. I think what I'm going to try to do is I have some of these extra leftover beads that I've had for years for Gasparilla. So when I see kids, I'll make sure I try to get the beads out of my pockets and throw some beads to the kids just for the here's your bounty of treasure, you bastard.
You just surprised how much kids love that stuff.
Oh yeah, well it's just drawing a hole in my drawer. Now the bad thing is that I'll have to eventually, because I do the bouncing on the yacht that I do every year. I'll actually have to start getting retrieving and keeping beads to make sure I have some for the kids, or they're going to say, "Hey, you had beads last time." So it's gonna hopefully it's not a lose-lose or a win-lose. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I just got a little thing on my news feed before I called you. The Warriors got Russell.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell. Tommy said that, and it was 4 at 117, I believe. 4 at 117. Pretty good memory, short-term memory, if I do say so myself. So not bad.
Now, I said before, Kyrie Irving, I'm glad he's gone off the Celtics. I feel sorry for the Nets getting him. He's not a team player, and I'm so happy we got Kimba. I think that's going to be an upgrade for us.
Kimba Walker, and I've been saying it for how long now? Kimba Walker is the best point guard in the draft. The best.
But losing Al Horford will hurt us more than Irving.
Yeah, and see, I also said that the Sixers, depending upon if Joel Embiid had a very good year last year. He actually got a taste of playing a bunch of games without getting as injured as he has been. And the Sixers got a bad taste left in their mouth with the 3-bounce win by Kawhi Leonard. And I think that if they, depending upon what they do with Harris and Horford and Embiid, and then the kid that they got from the Heat in the trade, and was it sign and trade for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a very good player, but he's trouble. He's kind of like Kyrie is for the Celtics, and they got rid of him. Good player, but he's trouble. So if they can put those pieces together, they'll definitely be another strong team in the East. So you got the Sixers and others. Tommy's a Kyrie fan, but that's Tommy. But I said I think
I just didn't like him throwing his other teammates under the bus. I just can't. That bugs me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like like I said 9 times out of 10, if you gave me the choice, I'm going to take Kemba Walker over Kyrie Irving every day. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about the NBA, I wish they would take a little hint from the NFL, is on draft night. The draft really, I think it was just totally a cluster. Excuse my language. It was awful. You do not, I hate it. In the NFL, when there's a trade, they go up with the right hat. Who's the team gets them? In the NBA, they were getting drafted by like the Lakers, but they were in the Laker hat, but they didn't end up on the Lakers. They ended up, traded. Oh, the Lakers took this pick, and they're going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And to me that's kind of confusing. Hey, if the trade's already going through and he's going to Atlanta, play him into an Atlanta hat. It just be less confusion and less of a cluster.
Yeah.
I got my heart broken and that because of that. And I was getting all happy that I said, oh, we did this trade at 22 and we'll get the Sixers set 24. And they picked Ty Jerome, and he was a Virginia guy. And I was like, oh, he's going to the Celtics. And I'm getting all excited, and I'm texting my brother, hey, should I get a white jersey or green? Oh, no, we're trading to the Suns. I went from elation to heartache.
Yeah, and people asked me about that. They said, and that was the night that the NBA draft night was the night that I didn't have the show because I overslept. So I kind of missed it, and apologies there. I hear what you're saying, though, but I think it's one of the reasons why that they have the, it's more fluid in the NBA because they have that immediate cap space thing that they have to deal with, whereas in the NFL, the draft is so much earlier, and they got to actually kind of work them out, and it's a different animal, and I think that's the reason why they do it.
But I do have to agree with one thing with Tommy about this going to London and the flying. The reason why it's really messed up is it puts whoever flies in a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And probably even more in baseball because there's not much, there's a week gap in football games, and you can get you a week off, maybe have a 2-week gap when you come back in NFL. I really think they'd be better suited off, even the NFL, to have games up in Canada where at least you're in the same time zone and it'll cut down some of the miles, and you can spread our product out and do branding that way until they can find a better way with this going to London. Because I tell you, that time zone difference is hard on those players.
It is. But the thing is, though, first off, you don't need to have games in Canada because you have the Blue Jays up there, and you're going to theoretically have games in Montreal if this Rays thing goes through. So you're kind of like what's preaching to the choir on that one. You're not going to be making as much coin with quote unquote new customers putting it in that market.
I'll talk about football up in Canada because we already know they like football.
Right, and they have the Canadian League, and they have their own Grey Cup as well. Remember, the Grey Cup is older than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I just think that time zone difference puts teams at a disadvantage. I mean, I will say London really has supported the Raiders. I will have to give them credit for that. They really have.
They have.
And those fans are pretty loyal to that, and I have to give them a lot of credit for that.
Yes, and folks, if you don't know already, obviously that the Silver and Black UK has events. Danny Lopez has events. So if you are going over to London this year, between the Silver and Black UK events and Danny Lopez's events, you will have things to do for the entire time that you are there. And you won't be bored. So everywhere from Thursday through Sunday of the game with Silver and Black UK, and of course the one event or maybe two events that Danny Lopez does, because he has events as well, you will be thoroughly entertained while you're over there. So make sure you check out those sites so you can get your information if you are going to London. Technically right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go to London because of a bunch of all the different things that I have to do. I'd love to, but I've already gone twice. So, it's no skin off my nose if I miss one game.
Now, go back to baseball. You talk about Tampa Bay going up there, splitting with up there in Montreal. But there was a reason the Expos left in the first place, wasn't it? Were the attendance really going down, if I remember right?
Well, the reason why the attendance went down is the same reason why the attendance sucks here. The stadium. The Expos, when the Expos were playing at Jerry Park, and look it up, folks, they played in Jerry Park before 1976, okay? It was a little rinky-dink stadium, but they sold it out a lot. They had really good teams up there, and they played in Jerry Park. Now, in 1976, when the Olympics were in Canada, okay, you had the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, right? Well, after the Olympics, they had this big stadium and said, well, we're going to throw our baseball team in there. So if you can imagine the baseball team playing in a stadium, kind of like what they had today in the baseball stadium they had in London. The way that the stadium was made was not really conducive for just a pure baseball aspect. So they had a lot of crappy seats because they didn't make it great sight lines for all of the people there, okay? The other thing that hurt, and thank you for Tommy, I was about ready to get there as well. In 1994, the Expos were probably on their way to winning the NL East and were a damn sight better than any team that would have come out of whatever the West was. They had a fantastic team. I think Randy Johnson was on that team. I'm pretty sure that Pedro was on that team. There was a bunch of great players on that team, and they would have probably run away with it, but the strike hurt them. And thank you, Tommy, you are correct there. So when you had this great team that didn't even make it to the playoffs in a crappy stadium, people just, and then they traded away all these players. Randy Johnson's no longer on the Expos. Pedro Martinez is no longer on the Expos. There's a bunch of people that the Expos had at one time. Gary Carter was an Expo, and he went over to the Mets. Things like that. They got rid of all of their best players. So the people in Montreal said, why am I paying big money for them to watch a game? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Larry Walker was an Expo, and he went over to the Rockies. So they got a lot of their better players they got rid of. It was not the greatest place to go see a baseball game. Crappy stadium and a lack of good players mean that the attendance kept going down, 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 and they eventually left to go be the Washington Nationals. And that's the way it is.
Well, the stories has been repeated in multiple sports. If you don't got the stadium and you said you won't put for a stadium, you'll lose the team.
That's right. Now, it's funny because
that's what's happening in Oakland. I hate to say this. I love Oakland. I love them to death. But they didn't put a stadium. They didn't want to pay for a better stadium. And the Raiders for years have been looking to get a better stadium. That's why we went to L.A. and it fell through. And we just, it's about time the Raiders get a stadium.
It is.
Now, it's sad it's in Vegas, but it's happy for Vegas that it's going. I mean, I'm happy for the Vegas fans. At the same time, that I feel sorry for the Raider fans, because there's been a lot of loyal fans out there in Oakland for years supporting them. And it's not the fans' fault. I blame the city and the politics on it more than anything.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not going to sit there. What's her name? Libby Shafts. I think she gave the city the shaft when it comes to sports.
Well, yeah, and remember, it was Shaft, and before her, it was Mayor Kwan, I believe was the gentleman's name. They haven't had their stuff right out in Oakland for over a decade. And because the team and the politicians couldn't get together, and mostly the politicians given to the fans saying that, yeah, we really want to keep this team here, it's a bunch of BS. So there you go.
Now, I hope all the other Raider fans are agreeing on this part. It's about time that we get a decent, up-to-date stadium and facilities.
Right. The Raiders have not ever had a state-of-the-art stadium until they moved to Oakland, what is the stadium that they're in now. That stadium, Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, was new in 1967. Because before that, they played in Kazar, they played at Candlestick, they played at a couple other, Frank Ewell Field. They did not have a brand new stadium until 1967, okay? So figure they haven't had a brand new stadium in what, 50 years? And,
50 plus.
Right,
yeah.
50 plus. So the thing is that they haven't had, and when the only renovations that were made to that stadium was Mount Davis, because originally that open air portion of what was the outfield was open. There was nothing there. So they made Mount Davis, and that was the quote-unquote brand new portion of the stadium. They have had basically zero renovation to everything else, and that is why the stadium literally is in shit when it rains, because the crap literally rolls downhill into the stands. The sewage is backed up, and you will get some feces on your feet when it rains, because there's just shit that happens literally at Oakland Stadium. They've needed a brand new stadium, and now they will get a brand new stadium, and it will be in Vegas. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And it's about time the Raiders get a brand new stadium, and I'm all for that. I am. I've been a Raider fan since '72, living in Philadelphia. So I didn't know any better about what stadiums are, because I was all of 7 years old. Now I know what it takes. You need a brand new stadium to keep the people there. Now, granted, you need a good product on the field too, and if the Raiders don't maintain that good product, they're going to be one of these teams with a brand new stadium with very little support. And I admit that. The Raiders need to continue to have good product on the field so that the stadium doesn't get inundated with fans of the other team, because people are going to sell those damn tickets.
That's two things going to help with that product, though. You have better, these are $1 million athletes. All right? They don't want to go to subpar facilities.
Right.
So sometimes it's hard to draw some of the bigger names to subpar facilities. Their body is their career. That is their money maker.
I agree.
So you want better facilities. So that's going to help to one extent. And the second thing is going to help is the taxes in California compared to what they're going to get in Vegas is just, day and night difference. There's no taxes in Vegas, and taxes in California are pretty high.
Right.
And that's really, they're going to take home more about going to Vegas for these players. They're back into some of these contracts, and them guys get on to Vegas. And if you're thinking in the business sense of it, why wouldn't you not want to go there?
Why wouldn't you? And as long as we have a good product and that team gels, I think we'll be good to go. Hey, Doc, give me your best out the door, shipmate.
Just go Raiders, and hey, let's keep the faith. Last 20 seconds, we're going to be back in camp.
All right. I can't wait. Good hearing from you there, Doc.
Take it easy there, buddy.
All right. That is Doc Burdett. Love to hear Doc. Always good to hear him out on the floor. We transition now. There we go. Line is open, 813-699-0834. We've been pretty good on calls. In fact, because I have my OBS over my, what do you call it, over the YouTube. I have the YouTube comments gone, but I'm looking at, wow, oh, you know what? I don't see time. I don't know how long I've been on. You know what? I don't care. We're on until we're off, or until it's time to go to bed. Although it is 12:15 here, I do think we've been on since 10:30. So figure that's one thing I got to figure out. Is I'm going to have to figure out how long I've been on. Such is life. I'm thinking an hour and 45. Not bad. I actually will have to do one of those things where. When I know that I'm on, I'll actually hit the stopwatch so I can go. But the line is open. You know, we will be here. Figure we got another 15 minutes. At least. I'll be talking. And I know that because I see the elder is in the house. And you know, if you were here at the beginning of the show, Elder Raider Rev, I started with NBA news. I did. I started with NBA news, and everybody will attest to it. We said that KD and Kyrie were going to the Nets, that the Knicks are run by a a-hole who can't figure things out, and he said that he wasn't going to give KD the max, and because he didn't give KD the max, he obviously went over to the Nets. And the other thing is that he said, well, we didn't want him because he had the Achilles step. Bullshit. That's just Jimmy Dolan being Jimmy Dolan being Jimmy Dolan. We have Kimba Walker going to the Celtics, as was attested to. Kyrie with KD, along with DeAndre Jordan with the Nets. We have Jimmy Butler in a sign-and trade going from Philadelphia to the Heat, and I can't remember who they got back from him, but the Sixers also signed Tobias Harris and got Al Horford, which is great for the Sixers, which I was trying to think, who is the team in the East? Because right now, obviously, it's the Raptors, but will Kawhi be there? And it is kind of, you know, Kawhi and Kyrie, you know, you got the going on, not KKK, because that's not right. But anyway, you got that going on. JJ Redick is leaving the Sixers. I can't remember where he's going, but he has left the Sixers for a big contract. There was, I heard that the Phoenix Suns, and I can't remember who exactly that they signed a decent name, and they got somebody. But the voice of the day is that the Jazz got, was it Dragovitz, I believe was the kid's name. The Jazz picked up a really good entity as well. Klay Thompson's still out there. D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell goes to the Warriors. According to the elder, Kawhi is going to the Lakers. We'll see. Because there is a possibility, and with Klay not being signed, will the Lakers have enough coin to get both Kawhi and Klay Thompson? Maybe. But they are not going to be able to spend big money on Klay if Kawhi signs. We'll see what happens. The other thing is that could they both be heading down to the Clippers? Because the Clippers haven't named. Okay, JJ Redick was with New Orleans. Thanks there, Tommy. I forgot who they signed. Klay can't play. By the way, it's with a K. It's a K, Elder. Klay Thompson. Klay. Klay. Bunch of K's out there. And he can play. In fact, if I, like I said, the Warriors, and Ed Winchell was saying that the the one kid, and I can't remember the kid's name. The one of the big centers that the Warriors had, they traded him away. So the Warriors are going to be going back down to earth. I mean, they're no more than maybe, well, obviously with Steph Curry, and I don't know the aspects if AI is still there, and you got with Klay gone probably, with KD gone, and they're about maybe the third best. The Lakers are looked at to be the best team in the West, but okay, it was Iguodala. Okay. Anyway, there's your basketball news. Elder AJ Brayhugh, Raider Rev. I had it on going on. Line's open. 7th seed. No skin off my nose. No skin off my nose. I liked the Warriors because of their ties to Philly. I did root for the Lakers when they were definitely playing the Celtics every year. I still can't stand the Celtics. I know that is Doc's team. He's definitely a Celtics fan. Doc I like, but Doc is probably the exception to any of the Celtics fans I know. They're just typical Boston fan. Typical Boston fan. Can't stand any team from Boston. That's just the way it is. Line is open, 813-699-0834. If we get a phone call, we'll obviously be here for a little bit. There we go. Started streaming. There's my count. 111 minutes. Okay, so I know I got about 9 minutes. Yeah, that's about right. There we go. Line is open. I'll still talk with folks out there. But it has been it's been a busy day in sports. I did want to say that I did enjoy when I was watching the Red Sox Yankees game today. And again, this ain't against Tommy. Okay? But I did love seeing the 14 batter, was it 9-run inning, at least 8 runs, that the Yankees had against the Sox. Because again, I just don't like the Sox. Don't like the Sox, don't like the Pats, don't like the Celtics. I think the Bruins would be the only team I have I hate them too, but I hate them the least of all those teams. Because Bobby Orr played for him, and I like Bobby Orr. And I enjoyed Bobby Orr and Esposito, Wayne Cashman. What is it? I can't remember the guy's name. What was it? No, Magnuson played for the Blackhawks. There was a couple fighters on the team that I liked because they were kind of like rough and tumble, like the Broad Street Bullies of the 70s. Cashman was one. Terry O'Reilly, there you go. He was a fighter too. Warriors going back to sucking, probably so. Probably so. But we'll see. Looks like the same old Phillies. Well, Phillies won today at least. I was going to say, at least they won today. There you go. See, Tommy, the Raider Rev agrees with you. Major League Baseball is stupid to have games in London. It's about the brand. It's about money. That's all it is. It's an inconvenience to the players. I get that. It's an inconvenience to football players. It's an inconvenience to baseball players. It's an inconvenience to basketball players, like Tommy was talking about having them play in China. It's an inconvenience, but it makes the league money. And as long as they make money, the commissioner of those leagues are going to say, this is what you're going to do. And they're going to do it. It's all about the money. It's about the Benjamins, and that's the way it's going to be. Do we have another call? Maybe. We'll see. 813-699-0834. Yeah, I know they lost the series against Miami, but they won today. I do have it here. Let me see here. Let me make sure I get the stats right. Boston is 44-40, 11 games back. Philly is 44-40 and 6 games back, and leader in the wild card. So, right now, who's a better team? See what I'm saying? It's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you look at it. I'm willing to take it. No, the question wasn't against the Dodgers. What the Dodgers are? Okay. Because Raider Rev wants to know. The Dodgers are 57-29. The best team in baseball. They are the best team in baseball. Let me say that again. The Dodgers are 57-29, the best team in baseball. I can read the charts just as well as anybody. So there you go. I admitted it. Line's still open, 813-699-0834. It is 12:26. Well, it's kind of late. We're almost there. It's almost time. So when it's almost time, hang on a second. Let's do this right. Because I don't want to be said that there's been a bunch of other things that I can't hear. So we will do this. We're going to get ready. And there we go. This has been You Don't Know Jack About Sports. I am your host, Captain Jack. Thank you for joining us. Although I can't hear what the music is because I have to hear something. I know it's coming on. But again, I do want to make sure that everybody is reminded that I will be in D.C. a week from tonight, so there will be no show next Sunday night, okay? There won't be a show next Sunday night. I will be up in the District of Columbia. So actually, if there is a show, maybe this week, no, actually I can't do it this week either. So basically I'm going to be on hiatus for a while because I got the weekend events. Obviously, 4th of July is Thursday, so no show on the 4th of July. Remember, celebrate Al Davis's birthday and celebrate the country's good fortune, man. We'll be doing good night to you as well there, AJ. Thank you for coming aboard. I will be here doing shows. If I have some guests, I will try to put those on for the Black Shield and Galleon Wheel podcast. So look for those, and if I do have those, I will be doing them. Also remember that I do the Raider Invasion podcast, and that's with myself, Raider Homer, Raider Critique, and Raider Voice. That's the Raider Invasion podcast, and this way they can do that. Co-host with me, sure. I'll do a show with you there, Elder. We'll have to figure out when, because remember when Angria comes back, we'll be doing that as well. Oh, see, the music's off already. I see that. So y'all have a great night, Take care, everybody. And we'll see you the next time we're out here on the Captain Jack Show, whether it's this one or another one. We'll see y'all later on. Take care. Yeah.